Before we get started with another episode on Fast Break on IE Sports Radio, I want to introduce y'all to a couple of our sponsors. The Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The Warriors dropped one to the Disciples 28-12 this weekend as they enter the final game of the regular season at 4-5. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organization. I get those words right. Players play in the host of so many different outcomes wherever it's Background Check International. Are you looking to background check for a new hire on? Let Kit Freeman take care of that for you. Kit has founded has managed Background Check International since 1994, and he's here to help you with the screening process. Contact Kit and let him help you make the hiring process that much easier. This business is not used for professional background checks and not for use of any crimes such as identity theft or any other illegal activity. You can find them on social media and on Facebook at Background Check International, BCI, and also on their website, bcint.com. Now on to the show. Well, the league has started this past Tuesday. We have a host of games going on. The Bulls, 3-0. The addition of Alonzo and Caruso and DeRozan DeRozan seem to do wonders. Can they keep this play up? The Lakers, 0-2, and a lot of issues going on with them early in the season. Can they right the ship, or this will be a theme for them for the rest of the season? Plus, Kyrie, Ben Simmions. The news really hasn't stopped for either of those all-star guards. Including today with anti-vaxxers protesting for Kyrie. We'll discuss that and much more here on Fast Break, live on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for that is all in sports, and you're welcome to join us. And join us as you shout tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Lots to talk about, lots to get into. NBA basketball is back. It's one of the best times in the sports calendar year. With the NFL going on, NBA starting back, college football going on, baseball hitting the World Series here soon, and college basketball tipping off around here too. D-Lock, how you doing today, sir, with all this lovely sports going on?
I'm doing great, man. A lot of different things going on. My Bucks did, excuse my language, kick some ass today. I did tweet, I think, Larry and a couple guys asked me and the other Bears fan how I was feeling at halftime. I think we were up like 35-3 or something like that. So my Bucks did what they had to do today. So I'm doing pretty good. I talked to you before this. Congratulations to your Titans. Having a real good game today.
Yeah, they did, man. I didn't know what to expect in this game. It could have been high scoring. It could have been like, I don't know, a lot of scenarios that could have went that way. But they came out, got the ball first, and they took it down, drove for the touchdown, and they didn't look back at all, man. And I don't know what's up with the Chiefs right now. I don't know. Like we discussed off here, Mahomes seemed out of it. I don't know. We'll see. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the world of basketball right now. The NBA season has tipped off this here past Tuesday. D-Lock, with the season going on right now, early on, who are some surprises so far for you? I know it's early, but what's some surprises for you so far earlier in this week?
I think one of the biggest surprises that I have. I mean, I guess many people did talk about it and were expecting. It's the Lakers. I got a couple of, but this is one that I know is going to take these guys. They play tonight. They have Memphis tonight. I was expecting them to that first game against Golden State. And I ain't gonna lie, I damn sure wasn't expecting them to lose to them. I just felt like that was the Lakers just have so much talent that they'll do what they do. Find a way to get the victory. So that was one of the biggest shockers for me. Another, I guess you could say, shocker really is you could say it's a shocker, but we've seen it when players leave LA. It's Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell. Like, Kuzma looks like a totally different player in Washington right now. I know it's like you said, it's early. It's a couple games, but he looks like a totally different athlete right now. I am very impressed with what he, has done. And for those who play FanDuel like you and I do, if you didn't give him that night when he was 4,700 and he had like 35, 37 points, that was a loss on you because his price is going to go up because, he's in that starting five. I believe Bradley Beal was out the second game, so he was being more dependent on a lot. And Trey just looked like the Trey that we seen when he was with the Clippers. So that was another shocker for me. Another one, too, is the Dallas Mavericks. When they played against the Hawks the first game, I was not expecting them to lose that game. Like, I don't know if it was like the first game for Chauncey Billups. I'm sorry, not Chauncey Billups, Jason Kidd, or what, but it just felt as if, like, this team kind of looked like they weren't put together, especially playing against the Hawks, who is a pretty solid team, but I didn't think they would have a match to Dallas. So, there's a lot more there. Another thing, too, is the Brooklyn Nets. They beat the 76ers, but they beat the 76ers team without a Ben Simmions. They beat them with a Maxey starting to guard, basically, a Joel Embiid and a Tobias. But that first game against Milwaukee, I was expecting more from them. We talked about the Kyrie thing, and we'll talk about it later. We've heard and talked about so much the fact that they don't need Kyrie. They have the James Harden and they have the KD. Like, they should still be one of the higher expectation teams, or expected to go pretty far. And for me, I know Giannis is. I guess you would say Giannis is playing much better. They just come off the NBA Final Championship. The banner was being raised. Chris Middleton was there, but losing a PJ Tucker, I was expecting that Brooklyn would, win that game with so much power that they had. Remember, I had messaged you after I looked at this roster. I'm like, damn, dude, like, this roster is one of the best rosters I've seen. So, for me, that's one of the shockers. I mean, obviously, it hasn't been that many games yet, but I was definitely expecting a little bit more from Brooklyn.
I guess for me, I'll start with my Lakers. I don't know what's up with them. I really don't. I really don't know what's going on. When we did our season preview series, when we talked about the Pacific Division, I was kind of skeptical of this roster. Now, this roster isn't at full strength yet. So let's keep that in mind. Ariz is still out. Wade Ellington, he's still out as well. So I'm keeping that perspective there. But still, get the beat down like you did against Phoenix the other night. And then, but the main story was, and it's not the story about Phoenix, outclassing the Lakers again. It's just all the other shenanigans going on the court. You have AD, and Dwight Howard getting into a tussle on the bench. That's not a great look. And then the way AD was playing defense against the Suns in that game, on his rotations and stuff like that, it's like I'm not saying give a damn, but it's just very lackluster, piss poor effort. Especially for, a defensive-minded head coach like a freaking Vogel. I don't care how much money he makes, you got to get an Anthony Davis' ass on that. And on the side note, D-Lock, before I get to Rondo, I told people about DeAndre Jordan. People trying to stick up for DeAndre Jordan. He done. He cooked. He don't really fit anymore. He's just like a one-trick pony. I hate to say that about the dude, but damn, and I don't know why the Lakers were so much in a rush to sign him. Like, there's a reason why this dude really didn't do nothing the past couple years in Brooklyn. Get paid all that money. I just don't get it. He played 10 minutes that game against Phoenix. 2 points. That's really about it. I didn't see like the urge to sign him. I wish they could have maybe signed another tweener a big man that can at least shoot and stuff like that. Maybe keeping Markieff Morris in the fold. And shout out to the Marcus in chat. I mean, yeah, he's cooked, but yeah, he's cooked. But hell, I don't think he can do the alley oops no more. And if you sign him D-Lock to be like a helper on defense, and he's not playing more than 10 minutes, then what are we doing here? And that's why my concern going about this team. Yeah, they pick up Avery Bradley. I think that'll help perimeter-wise, but I just hope with all these veterans they have on this roster, I hope they don't think they can coast to the playoffs and then maybe turn on the switch come playoff time. I hope they don't got that mindset going on.
Yeah, and that's my thing too, is that this is a longer season than last year, so that you have a little bit more time to get everybody on the same page. But yeah, I'm about as shocked as you are.
And then Rajon Rondo. I don't know what was said between him and the fan. We know from Rondo in the past, he can have an attitude. The gun gesture, not a great look. I'm pretty sure he got fined for that, but that's not a great look. For Rondo and the Lakers, all that in the league. That ain't a great look. With all the red coats in the Staples Center, you get one of them and get the dude out of here if he's bothering you that bad. But that was a bad look all around. In my eyes. For the Lakers. Just looking back at the stats real quick. I mean, LeBron played nice. AD played nice offensively, but nobody else really stepped up to the plate. And Westbrook, man, D-Lock, I don't know. Yeah, I know it's early in the season. We're just 2 games in. We'll see how tonight goes when they play Memphis, with Memphis playing very well. I ain't trying to be one of those Laker fans that we should have got Buddy Hield instead. I ain't trying to say that, but Westbrook ain't hitting right now.
Yeah, he's we can't forget we're talking about a guy that's been a one-man show, basically most of his career. So him get acclimated to being with a team, not only sharing with other superstars, but not even being the top two, you know, on your team. You're basically the third option, or the second option, I guess, in best case. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but you can see it's going to take, like he's still trying to be, the Russ that he usually is. And you kind of can play it. It's just going to be interesting to see how Frank Vogel plays this. Because some of the rotations that I was seeing these past couple of games is horrible, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm looking at some of these rotations and some of them out there. I'm like, what is Vogel doing? Like, dude, you got Rondo and Russ out there together. That doesn't even sound right. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to take some time. And, again, the whispers of the Buddy Hill to L.A. Will be chanted in the background. A lot of people.
And we'll see how that, like you mentioned, we'll see how that plays out for the rest of the season. I mean, we'll see how that goes for the rest of the season. But I think another surprise for me, I don't know if you agree with this or not, going to the Eastern Conference, the Bulls and the Hornets being undefeated. I know it's just 3 games in, but for the Hornets, like today, beating the Nets, very great job by them beating the Brooklyn Nets. Miles Bridges had a great game today, 32 points, 9 rebounds. Played very excellent for the Hornets. And Ish Smith, that dude stayed getting checked in the league, but he had 15 points off the bench. And despite Kevin Durant's 38 points, D-Lock, nobody else for the Nets stepped up. Harden had 15 points. He was 6 for 16 for the field. But nobody else really stepped up for Brooklyn. Do you see them on the same boat as the Lakers? Like, maybe they kind of lean too heavily on the veteran side of things? Or do they kind of figure things out beforehand?
My thing is, remember, we talked about it, like, their roster is loaded. I guess you could say just by the names. They're what we call a team that looks good on paper. But also with that, the reason why is because of the veteran names that they have. You got a Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Paul Millsap, all these guys. So they're going to try to lean on the vets, but I think it's going to take a little time as well, because you got all these veterans that were in their prime, or hell, where they were prior to this, they were, that guy, or putting a lot of minutes in to play a huge part for their teams, respective teams, and that's not the case with Brooklyn. I mean, we know that Brooklyn is going to run through James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, if that situation gets handled. So all these other guys got to take that step back, that role. And for me, that could cause an issue. But they have so many veterans that they should be able to get this at some point, which is a difference between. I would say the reason why is because I think they have a deeper roster than the Lakers. I mean, top to bottom, as far as like the names and what they've done in the NBA over time. So I think they should be able to get it. The problem with that is Kevin Durant is not a leader. He's not the leader like a LeBron is. So I think it's going to take a little bit longer with that. They're going to look for somebody to lead. So it could take a little bit longer. It could take somebody, to step up and take that role. Maybe that's what they're missing with Kyrie right now as well. So for me, and that's why I brought him up as one of the shockers too. Looking at all the guys they have, like, even though it's not that many games in, like, you would have told me that they were going to lose to Charlotte in the 3rd game of the season, Brooklyn. There's no way I would agree with. I would think you're crazy. And it's not a shot towards Charlotte. It's just the fact that I think Brooklyn has so many weapons. So, and so many guys on that bench, in the rotation. So, they have to get it together at some point. And we know what happened. It's kind of a snowball effect when you lose and when you win. But when you lose, now these other questions start to rise, and you start to doubt, and these connections, these chemistries start to fade. So they got to get it together soon.
I know, and I guess we can go here. I know this guy has been out. It's gonna be out for a while. I don't know. We don't know when he's gonna be back. But Kyrie Irving, you should. Before we got on the air, you showed me a video of today. Before I guess the Nets play the Hornets, of a group of anti-vaxxers. Yeah, a group of anti-vaxxers outside of where they play at Barclays Center. Protesters and let Kyrie play. What were your initial thoughts when you saw that video? Then you shared it to me. What's your opinion of that? Are we going to see more of that over the course of this season until Kyrie shows up, or just like a one-time incident in your eyes?
Well, the first thing I thought about is, well, damn, like Kyrie can't take the vaccine. He can't get vaccinated now. He can't get vaccinated now. Like, that's definitely a no-go at this point. It don't matter how much research he's done, or he does, or how much somebody tells him. At this point, the fact that they're, basically on video at the arena, like, he's. Somebody said something to me one day. They said, did he write a check that he can't catch? And at this point, that's the first thing I thought is, okay, well, damn, not Kyrie. Like, you done did all these people doing this now. You can't just up and just change your mind now. So, but honestly, things go the way they do. Kyrie continues to stick by what he believes and what he's trying to say. This is not going to be the only time we see this. I believe that this is just the beginning. And also, okay, they play Charlotte, right? What happens when they play Milwaukee? What happens when they play LA? What happens when these games are the national televised games? The TNTs, where there's more people watching. They're really going to show their ass when it comes to that as well. So I don't think that this is over. This is going to be something that's going to be continuously over and over and over. We're going to hear about this all the time. So for me, this is just the beginning, man. Like, this is literally just the beginning. I don't think that, I honestly don't think that, for sure now, Kyrie doesn't get vaxxed at all. I don't think he get vaccinated. I think he's going to stick by what he's been talking.
The yellow, the tread on me, the yellow don't tread on me flag. I saw that in the crowd.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I was like, okay, what are we doing here? And what I mean by what we doing here is like, are we like genuine? Are these people genuine fans of Kyrie, or y'all just using this black athlete for your own agenda? Because my thing is like, if you're a genuine fan of Kyrie, then I understand. But if you just there just to go against, a liberal agenda or whatever, and being, it's New York, the city, will make that difference there. The city, more of a liberal base there. And I hope, the NBA and folks like that shut that down. Like you mentioned, the Nets going to be on national TV a lot. You want to shut that noise down. I know Adam Silver has come out and said he hopes Kyrie get the vaccine. But, time will tell on that. So, I hope the folks that protest are genuine about it. But let's be real. Me and you probably know this, and hopefully our audience know that these folks really don't give a damn about Kyrie like that. And it's about the same.
Nah, definitely not. Yeah, I agree with you.
And it's the same audience of people that when the NBA probably got back up and rolling during the bubble and stuff, probably got tired of seeing the Black Lives Matter messages and all that stuff, and all that stuff, and all that, images and messages and all that stuff. So, I think me and you talked about off the air, but do we agree with the NBA kind of forcing their players to get the vaccine, but using the guise of like the city, state mandates, wherever these teams are located? Kind of messed up. And we kind of like talked in the past in this show, like if the NBA going to do a mandate, most of the time the players going on doing it. Like an example, before I move on to the Bulls here. Going back to the national anthem. Back in the 90s, David Stern, when Chris Jackson, didn't stand for the anthem and stuff like that when he was playing for the Nuggets. What happened there? Stern gave him harsh discipline, made a mandate for the guys to stand for the national then and there. Hadn't made no noise since. So, I mean, the NBA can make that mandate. It's weird that people kind of harp on the story when the players are like 96, 97, most of the league is vaccinated. But, but one player has kind of gotten a rise of a certain side, and who knows if this show goes on the road or not.
Well, my thing is, I feel like I definitely agree with you. This is going to be something that's going to continue. Because now it's not going to just be in New York, Brooklyn. There's going to be other people that feel, very similar, that are trying to protest and express how they feel. I agree. Like you said, they don't look at it as, oh, this is a Kyrie, the person that I watch and I like watching. They just look at him as a figurehead. What I mean by that is he's a person that is saying something or believing in something no matter who he is, and they're supporting it. So, for me, the biggest thing for me is Kyrie, like, all of these people are standing up now. So you cannot back, like, it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's not going to slow down. So it's bringing more steam. It's getting a snowball effect, and it's getting bigger. So at this point, you can't just be like, all right, well, you know what? Forget it. I'll change my mind, and I'll get back to play. Like, that's over with. Like, to me, I feel like that part of changing your mind and considering it's going to cause even more chaos. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you got all these people supporting what you're saying or protesting what you're saying. But if you come back and say something else, now it's a whole different argument that's going to go on the debate. So that's the biggest thing that I'm seeing out of this. Again, I don't think it's going to stop. You have a long season ahead, clearly. And then what makes it even more interesting is depending on how Brooklyn plays. Let's say Brooklyn struggles all year long, and it's clear that having a Kyrie will make a big difference. Like, now you're having more people talk about it. So yeah, we're far from done with this, man. It's gonna be a long time. This is gonna go on for a while. We're gonna be talking about this on the show basically like every Sunday, I think, or maybe most Sundays.
I mean, let's pray that it don't happen. Let's pray. But as we've seen, I think for the past couple years, the people by making them voices more known and known, and they'll get the message out one way or another, whether this person co-opted in or not. But we shall see how things move along there. But D-Lock, you were high on the Bulls coming into the season.
Yes, sir.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised they are 3-0 so far this season? And what do you think about the additions they have made? The three big additions they made in DeRozan, Lonzo, and Caruso. Has that made a difference for the team in your eyes?
To be honest with you, hell yeah. So we talked about it, and I remember when this trade happened or this decision. Because remember, I believe like before Chicago made this move, there were people rumors saying that DeMar DeRozan wanted to go back home. They were talking about him going to LA. The Lakers needed another player. This is before Russ. They were saying he would be fit. He would fit perfect in LA, and they need another guy that can go off the ball and shoot, play defense. And he goes to Chicago. Lonzo, I think we talked about it before it happened, and we said that was one of the spots that he can possibly land. He ends up going as well. Now, going to grab Caruso was a sneaky kind of grab. Nobody really talked about too much, but he's a very good defender. We know what Billy Donovan is as a coach and what he can do and what he has done. Those additions that he made were tremendous. And the reason why I say that is because one of the main reasons why I say that is because we're talking about the East. We're not talking about the West. Like, we're talking about the division where it's not heavy top to bottom. You don't have, we always see it every year. You go under 500 in the East and you in the playoffs. Hell, you might be six or five. So to get these additions, is paying out very well. I ain't gonna lie, it's very early, but Lonzo looks like a totally different player in both LA and New Orleans right now. I'm not sure if you noticed that as well. Like, he's evolving into a much better player right now. I don't know if he did a lot of work in off season, or it's the fact he's at another franchise with a different coach, and they're kind of investing in him. But he looks like a totally different player. But I'm not too much shocked. This started when they traded for Vooch. They went and traded for Vooch. That was a huge pickup. I know what he was in Orlando, the all-star that he was. We were having terrible records, and we getting blown out by 20 and 30 points in Orlando. He still was putting up double-double numbers. So, starting out with Vooch, then picking up DeRozan, getting Lonzo. Zach LaVine has less pressure on him now with the guy that he has. It's not so much leaning on Zach LaVine as much. Patrick Williams, we're not seeing too much of him as much. We're not seeing as much of him, but I think he'll fall into a role with them as the season goes. But the guys they got are good, man. They got some defenders over there. Like, I really like what they have. They got the scoring, Zach LaVine. They got the defenders. Caruso is a hell of a player off the bench. We seen that last year in LA, and I believe a couple years before that. So I like what the Bulls are doing, but I'll say this now, and I think we'll talk about it. It depends on when he comes back, but I think we're on the lookout for Kobe White being traded.
Yeah.
It's just too many guys there. I don't really see him carving out some minutes to get a chance to get in that rotation. And I like him. Hell, to be honest, if you could send him to Orlando, I would love that. But be on the lookout for him possibly getting traded, because I think what they have now in Chicago is very good. Again, it is early. But what they do have is they got a special group right now. DeRozan wasn't a drop-off in San Antonio to me. I just felt like, San Antonio, we know what San Antonio is. We've seen Kawhi when he left San Antonio. So for me, I like what the Bulls are doing. It is early, but they can I can see them making a big run during the season. Like, I'm not gonna say not gonna say yet that they'll put pressure on the Nets or the Bucks right now, or hell, even the Heat. But they're gonna be one of the teams to watch out for in the East.
Yeah, I agree with you. To Kobe White, yeah, I figure he'll get some time behind Lonzo and Levine, but that don't seem like the case right now. And they give him a decent amount of time to this Javonte Green off the bench. And you notice like a lot of big guards for the Bulls. You're talking about Lonzo, who's 6'6", Levine 6'7", 6'6", and then Javonte Green, he's 6'5", Caruso, he's 6'4". That's some big guards right there. And you talk about a Kobe White, like what, maybe what, like I'm trying to guess, like maybe 6'1".
That's what I'm thinking.
I'll take it back.
Yeah.
I'll take it back. No, I'm looking right now. Never mind. He's 6'4". My bad. Huh. I mean, but point is though, you're talking about being lost in the rotation, and I'm not saying Kobe White didn't have a chance to run with the ball, but they did kind of, pull the football right in front of him before he can make a decent play. But the additions they did last year in the trade deadline for Vooch, and then getting Levine back, Patrick Williams showed some growth as a player towards the end of last season. Got a good recipe of success. I think you probably could use a little more bench depth if you're the Bulls. I mean, Caruso is playing great, but I think you need a little bit more, especially on the big man side of things. But that's maybe like when you move, if you move Kobe White, can you get somebody down low to help you off the bench, and not be so depending on Vooch, to bang every big man, every team. I mean, just looking at the game against Detroit. I mean, you only had to deal with Isaiah Stewart, but I mean, Kelly Olynyk don't scare you down low. Luke Garza. I mean, time will tell what player he'll be in the NBA, but right now he ain't gonna do nothing much down low. So, kind of easy pick against Detroit. Plus, Detroit still don't have Cade Cunningham yet, but time will tell. We'll see how he looks when he comes in. But yeah, Chicago looking very good so far. And then you look into today's action. Your Orlando Magic. They got 1 point lead against the New York Knicks.
Yeah, they're tight right now.
What are you thinking of Jalen Suggs so far?
I'm loving Jalen Suggs right now. I think that first game against the Spurs, we know what the Spurs are. I think he got a little, obviously, first game as a rookie, he's going to feel a little nervous. Now, Chumo coach hurt at the moment. It's Franz Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, he rookie out of Michigan. He's been a big shocker to me. Kind of remember him a little bit last year, but he's playing very, very good right now. And you can see what he can do. He can be for the team moving forward. Also, Mo Bamba, you can see now that he's getting the minutes, he's showing his presence on the court. Now, I think what maybe possibly did motivate him is the fact that we extended Wendell Carter and not him before the deadline. So I'm pretty sure that probably, motivated him a little bit to play a lot better because he's definitely getting everything together. But Jalen Suggs is outstanding right now, man. It's just now we have to figure out this rotation. We got because I believe Gary Harris was hurt, thankfully second game. So Jalen Suggs started both games, this one and the previous one. So now, once you find that rotation, you're not going to have Markelle Fultz for now. Cole Anthony's looking like a future stud in the league for years to come. So again, but we've talked about it before, and I've said we will have 2 or 3 solid years. But since we don't go to the NBA Finals in those 2 years, the front office want to change coaches. So hopefully, this time around, that's not the case. You understand that you have a couple injured guys, which is cool, but the group that you have at this moment is playing out of their mind, and you want to make sure you keep this group and have them gel. So I like Jalen Suggs, man. I just like this class is. Again, we're talking about a couple games in, but they're playing pretty solid, especially against the Knicks team that went toe-to-toe with Boston opening day.
Well, let me ask you one more question. Well, I know, and you brought up Mo Bamba. Do you see him sticking around for the rest of the year with this team? I mean, I know he's getting the start. I know he's getting the time right now. It's still kind of weird fit for me that he's playing alongside Wendell Carter in the starting lineup. Just me as a coach, I hate seeing that fit.
At the end of the season, he's gonna. It seems like at this moment they're gonna play him a lot, and then figure out, okay, like you said, we're gonna get him very hot right now, which he is. He's playing very well. And then look to see what they can get him for. Now, clearly, it's about what you want in return. Because I think if you move Mo Bamba, first of all, you've already paid Wendell Carter, so I feel like that's going to be your big man. You got a couple guys in Schumann and Jonathan Isaac who you paid Isaac already. So are you trading Mo Bamba for a superstar? Like, what is the motivation behind it, or the momentum, or the idea behind that? But I definitely see that as a possibility. I mean, it's just like looking at it right on the wall, man. Like, you got him starting, like you said, you got him and Wendell Carter starting. So you kind of want, him to do what he do, get his blocks, get his steals, his boards, whatever, perform very well, and then see what teams call for. And that's what I kind of can see possibly happening. But the fact that they did not extend him, that gives you that points all the time to possibly trade him before the season is over.
They're gonna be a real interesting team to watch, and you see who kind of rises to the top, who plays well. I mean, looking at live right now, Cole Anthony has 25 points, 13 rebounds right now, and 5 assists and 5 of 7 for 3-point land. He's playing very excellent right now. RJ Hampton, the shooting got to be a little better. He's shooting 3 for 10 right now. That's got to be, tightened up in my eyes. But go to the other side of the Knicks real quick. They had a hell of a game against Boston the other day. Very great game, especially in overtime. I mean, Boston, at the end of that game, they had great looks to, hit a three-pointer. But, this couldn't connect. And to see the energy in the Garden in that first game of the season is very great to see in my eyes. As you know, okay, I don't say the Knicks are back, but the fans are excited. They got the mojo going. The arena is full and whatnot. And them playing at home against the Magic now. Randall, he got 23 points, 10 rebounds so far. I wish he wouldn't be shooting too much threes, in my opinion. But, that's another subject for another day. how do you envision this Knicks team? Could they make a good run as a top 4 team in this conference?
I definitely see it as a possibility. But the question always is, with any team that he goes to, is Kemba Walker. Like, what do you get out of him? What kind of player will he be? Now, Obi Toppin is playing extremely much better than he did last year so far. I think one reason, too, is he's getting the opportunity to get in the minutes. They're finding a different rotation for him. But he's playing extremely well. The addition of Evan Fournier seems like it's paying off right now. I'm not sure how long he'll be able to keep up this percentage of shooting that he's doing. But this team is pretty solid. I think Taj Gibson, this is his first available game all year. Nerlens Noel hasn't played yet this season. But this team can be very good for a while. I like Mitchell Robinson, a while back. I just feel like, he's been injury prone, for a lot of his career. If he can stay healthy, they got a hell of a player in him as well. So they're very young. Now we are talking about being top 4 in the East. I think that'd be kind of tough. But we talked about the Bulls before. If I had to choose between those two, I think I like the Bulls. Just because the fact is, the experience and the guy that they have on that roster, I feel like that lineup and that rotation could be just a little bit better. I think Derrick Rose also runs for that 6th man of the year. I think he's a 6th man of the year candidate this year again. But, man, right now the 3 that I have look extremely well this year so far on the East. Or my top 3 right now, you obviously got Brooklyn and Milwaukee. I got to throw the Heat in there. The Heat looked extremely well their first game. So to get that 4th or 5th spot, it's going to be kind of tough. But I like them, though. Like you said, seeing that Madison Square Garden rocking the way that it was, Tracy Morgan out there, Spike Lee, it's very good to see that. To see that the Knicks, it's like NBA is much better when the Knicks are good. It's like much more exciting to see when the Knicks are playing well.
Yeah, I think the Knicks can keep this up. I just think the stock selection should be a little bit better in my eyes. It's great to see Mitchell Robinson back. So with him and Noel, you got that same type of player coming in and out of your rotation, and you're not skipping a beat. So that's a plus there. And then to go along with Derrick Rose, you got Taj Gibson back into the fold. Like you mentioned about Topton, playing very well in between the preseason and up to this point, he's been playing pretty well. So if he can keep that up, I think they'll go a long way, for this Knicks team to kind of be a real player in the kind of playoffs. And like you mentioned about Brooklyn earlier in the show, that's still New York. New York City is still like a Knicks town. Don't matter, that Brooklyn's like the sexy girl, the new sexy lady on the block, but still, Old Faithful always get you through, and the Knicks will always be in Knick Town. And if they can put it together, and if they don't have a Kyrie come playoff time, I think the Knicks could get them down the line. And they, the Nets struggles so far this season. When they see the Knicks, that'd be a marquee matchup. And I don't know if Brooklyn don't want to have those problems, because if you get the confidence to the Knicks like that, that'll go a long way for them.
that's my thing. Like, we know the Knicks. Like, was it last year? It's like obviously the rivalry between Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks is going to be there. So you give them just a little bit of confidence, the Knicks, they'll take that a long way. So again, this whole Kyrie situation is gonna definitely make an impact on that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We do that, and I know we talk about Kyrie. We got to touch on Ben Simmons for a little bit. Is it okay? Let me ask you this: when the reports come out, what happened in the practice and stuff like that, I thought low key kind of snitching in my eyes, because we seen with the NFL and the email situation, we kind of see if teams want stuff leaked out, they'll leak it out. Fair or foul for the 76ers, to leak out what Ben Simmons did in practice a couple of days ago?
That's foul. And the reason why is because you will never air dirty laundry. I mean, you keep, what you have going on in-house. Now what happens is, we talk about how, a lot of people say, well, hell, Ben Simmons didn't help, his trade value, a lot of stuff that he's done, the stuff that he said, how he's played. But the 76ers didn't help at all by putting all that business out there. That stuff needs to be in-house. Now, trying to figure out what was the are you trying to be from the news, trying to go on Sports Center? What was the purpose of having that news out there? Clearly, the guy does not want to be there. Let's just get that out the way. He does not want to be in Philly. So to me, trade the man. You really want to go to somebody. Now, it would make a little bit, I would say it would probably not hurt as much if it wasn't a guy, a superstar caliber player. But this is what you have here. This is a person that you're dealing with. So trade this guy. Stop wasting your time and having the dude come to practice with a cell phone in his pocket. Like, you got the coach telling this man to do a drill and he's saying no. Like, what else do you want? So for me, this is a waste of time, man. You're gonna keep going through the same thing with this dude. We just heard, was it a couple of days ago? He said he wasn't mentally ready to play.
Yeah.
Really, and we don't know exactly when he's gonna be ready to come back and return. Like, what is the point? If he does not want to be there, stop wasting time and trade this dude. Listen, you're not gonna get equal value. They need to understand that. That's just what that is. Houston didn't get the same equal value for James Harden, in my opinion. So getting equal value for a said player, as much as you want, that's going to be tough. So stop, just listen. Go ahead, trade the guy. Get whatever you can for him at this time. You have Embiid, as your star. You have Tobias there. You got Maxey as your new point guard. Cool. But what's the point of having this guy coming to the facilities? And my thing is too, so I look at it as a former player too, or athlete. Dude, you can't go out here and say that you don't want this guy, and then you're gonna say you're gonna trade him. Then you're gonna say he's the reason why y'all lost, and then you want this man to come back like he didn't even hear that at all. You want him to come back to facilities and team meetings like everything is cool. Like, your co-star is gonna say that you're the reason why they lost. Then your co-star is gonna say, "Well, I have nothing to say about him. I don't care about that guy. He can do whatever he wants," and stuff like that to the media. Like, why would everything just be cool at practice the very next day? No, that's not gonna happen. So at the end of the day, they need to wash their hands with it. Accept the fact that he doesn't want to be there. They're holding on for something. So I don't know if it's a pride thing, whatever Daryl Morey had going on. Let's not forget, before Ben Simmons got there, Joel Embiid was going around with the trust the process quote. So for everybody to say that they built the team around Ben Simmons, I honestly disagree with that. I feel like they did more building around Embiid because he was there first. So at the end of the day, if you don't want this guy, he doesn't want to be there, just trade him.
Well, y'all heard the man. I couldn't put it better myself. And I think, like you met my Morey, he's got to give it up. He's got to give it up. And if he's leaking out the news and stuff like that to these reporters and news media, then he's not helping trying to get value for Simmons. He's not. But you hit the nail on the head. And I can add to that. But, ladies and gentlemen, this has been our show tonight. Thank you for tuning in with us. D-Lock, how can people find you on social media?
You guys can definitely find me at Black-813. Twitter and Instagram. We did beat the Bears today, so I will be tweeting about that. Also, my Magic is going toe-to-toe with the Knicks, so I'll be talking about it as well. And unfortunately, my Gators got to play Georgia Knicks Saturday, so that's going to be like a rough day. So I'll be talking about that as well. Let them know where they can find you at, man.
You can find me on Twitter at Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288. Also, please do follow us on Twitter at FastBreakIESR. That's FastBreakIESR. You can follow us and talk basketball with us throughout all of our tweets throughout each and every day. Also, I'll do another episode on the side. I get my words right. On the side called The Crooks Process. I recently posted up a new episode up talking about the email situation in the NFL, and also gave a preview for the Titans and Chiefs, that game that occurred today, with the Titans win. So please do be on the lookout for that. Also, do check out IESportsRadio.com. You can catch the playback on all our shows and other shows on the network as well. Football season is in, so we got every show in every NFL market. So please do tune in. Till then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week discussing more NBA action. So till then, we're out.
Peace.